Reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 1, Chapter 7, the last chapter, text 15 and 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nāradas tu kṛtāgaskam, ivātmānam amanyata, devānāṁ yādavānāṁ ca saṅge ganda kutūhalāt, antarhito bhūtvā, baddhvaikaṁ yoga-paṭṭakam, niviṣṭo bhagavac-ceṣṭā, mādhuryānubhavāya. Nārada, however, thinking he had committed an offense, did not accompany the demigods and the Yādavas. Instead, with great curiosity, he hid himself in the midst of the sky, fixing himself in a yoga sitting posture to observe the sweetness of the Lord's acts. Purport: it was Nārada who has made Krishna so unsettled by mentioning the present state of the Vrajvasis. Nārada therefore thought himself an offender. In fact, however, he had not acted offensively, as Prikshit Maharaj here indicates by the word eva. Later in this chapter we shall hear Krishna explain why Nārada should not blame himself. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Pancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasade Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, the goal of Krishna consciousness is not to, I have many times mentioned this, not to understand Krishna, but feel Krishna. And now we're at the part of the story where we've been prepared to feel Krishna. So maybe a little bit more narrative. I always put things in context because not everybody's here in every class. But we know the commotion when Nārada came looking for Uddhava, and the contention between various of the key figures in Krishna's associates, whether or not the gopis were the topmost recipients of Krishna's mercy, which was Nārada's objective. But Sanatana Goswami has composed the book in such a way that whether they say that they're the greatest devotees or not, they're hinting that they're the greatest devotees, because if Balaram and Rohini object how can they be the greatest devotees? Because they're suffering so much, but why are they suffering? In separation from Krishna, which counterintuitively and inconceivably is the height of the greatest love, the height of the greatest suffering, the height of the greatest love, and the height of the greatest ecstasy. So this contention and this discussion that went on, and we went on, Krishna rises from his bed, and we've already had that hint that he didn't get up because of this, for some reason. Now we understand why. He himself everything's pointing to the theme. The topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy are the gopis, specifically Srimati Radharani. So Krishna's heartbroken, and he gets up and asks what to do. And some people, when he says that, are fearful he's going to leave. And some people are fearful he's going to write a letter and crush the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛtas, because already Krishna promised him that he'd come home. Then Nārada came with gifts from Krishna. He will come home. Then Balaram went. He'll come home. Uddhava went. This will just crush them. This will just crush them. And in this discussion, it comes out how much. Balaram says, you don't want to know how much suffering they're undergoing. And then Balaram breaks down in tears. And then Krishna breaks down in tears. And then they faint. So what is Krishna's heart of his love? What is Krishna's heart of his love for the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛtas? What is his love? He faints. And because of love, meaning your happiness is the happiness of another, which means their sadness is your sadness, their heart becomes your heart. That's real love. And because it's the spiritual world and that love's at the height, that when the suffering of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛtas, Krishna just faints. And then his closest associate, and Balaram faints. And then his closest associates, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Uddhava, they start to wail. And when they start to wail, others hear it, and the whole town of Dwarka is just wailing to such a degree that it comes to the attention of Lord Brahma. But what comes to his attention is that there are omens indicating that something is wrong. Just like when Krishna was in the coils of the Kaliya serpent, there were omens. And Lord Brahma comes down to see what happens. And then he's never seen, because Krishna is his guru, his spiritual master, even though he's, in the form of a 16-year-old boy. He is his. It's the same God manifest in different ways, just like we can manifest in different ways according to our relationship. But he realizes that this is his Supreme Lord. And in that separation mood, of that love that Krishna has, Krishna's glory is also his love. God's glory is his love. God's glory is his own heart. So he sees the full manifestation of his heart. It's so beautiful. A person, beauty is their love. And that means in relationship. And Krishna's relationships are the bridge, but we see the mercy they have. And then Lord Brahma breaks down. And Garuda, who carried him, he breaks down. But Brahma gains his sobriety and then intelligently he makes a careful plan as the supremely adhikavaye, the supremely intelligent person. He makes a plan. And somehow Vishvakarma made another Vrindavan. I don't know why he's did it. All we know is that he's the architect of the demigods. And what he must do must be fantastic. It's just like, for the second time, I went to that Swami Narayan temple, 1,500,000 square feet. It was Jack's day off Thursday. He said, let's go there for lunch, because they have an amazing 1,000 seat restaurant. No onions, no garlic, prasad. And we met Bhakti Vinod there. And because when he was running for office, he met them there. He met this one guy somehow who was connected there. He happened to meet the guy who bought the land, who arranged to buy the land, 138 acres, which was zoned for religious. You go out there, it's just farmland, and they have 138 acres, and then this spectacular temple. And I'm making a point about Nava Vrindavan. And so they brought him there on Janmashtami to speak, and I coached him, and he quoted one verse, because it was Janmashtami, and he was running for office, and he quoted a verse. Yada, yada, and the whole audience started to chant it. So they know him well. So there was a tour, but it's so well organized, all volunteers. I can't even describe how well organized, how beautiful it is. But we went into the main sanctum, and I couldn't figure out, because the floors had these cut marbles, but the marbles made contiguous designs. So I don't know how you do it, because you cut marble from a mind, and how they can fit exactly into the next piece to make so I just understand out of their dedication, 12,000 volunteers who put together this incredible, they didn't carve the marble, but put together this marble temple, volunteers. So you can imagine what Vishvakarma can do. That's my point. You can imagine what Vishvakarma can do. And so they take Brahma on the back of Garuda. Also in that love of Krishna and seeing Krishna, that heart. I remember once, right after 9/11, I was giving a class in the Nārada's house to his father, a very saintly man, Mahesh Pandit. I just see my battery's going to run out here, so I just got to get my plug it in here. Excuse me. Okay, so I was, giving a class in their house, and Nāradas has a sister, and she's seemed very saintly and, daughter. And I gave an example to explain something, because it was just after 9/11, and I said, Mahesh, just like if your daughter was in the World Trade Tower and his heart, not even happening, thinking about it. So what to speak of these devotees who love Krishna and take that into their heart? Again, Jiva Goswami, happiness means the happiness of another. Love means the happiness of another. It means the sadness of it. It comes into your heart. So they put Garuda, he regains his consciousness, and they take Balaram and Krishna on Garuda, and they take him to Nava Vrindavan. And they warn the people there, don't come. Because Lord Brahma's plan is Krishna's in separation from the residents of Vrindavan. If we can fool him by Nava Vrindavan, that he's in Vrindavan, then we can bring him out of his catatonic state. And this emotional state, it's described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Mrita. Mrita means out of love you want to die, but you stay alive out of love because it may hurt the people you love. Radharani, in separation from Krishna, wants to die, but out of love for Krishna she won't die. So what is the extent of that type of love? Anyway, he says, don't come. We'll find out they come anyway, but they come in camouflage. So they want to see what's going on. And then when they get there, maybe we'll come up to this, maybe I spoke already, but Balaram gets revived. He wakes up and he understands what's going on. So they redress Krishna in the informal dress of a cowherd boy rather than the formal dress of a king. Just like when the gopis, after 96 years, come to Kurukshetra and to see Krishna on the solar eclipse, and they see Raja Vesh, he's a king, and they see he's surrounded by so many of his subjects. So he has to respond to their love with distance to the subject. If there's a respected father, that's a flavor of love. respect is a flavor of love. So the respected father, for reciprocating that love, may be somewhat dignified and formal. But then what happens is, if someone comes in another relationship, that other person has to understand that he can't reveal that more spontaneous side in front of his children, because they have this reverence and love, and that's what required in that relationship. Different relationships, this is just the rasa theory, have different vibhavs, alamban, the basis of love, different objects of love, different subjects of love. With Krishna, if there's a child, if there's parental love, then the object of love is Krishna as a child, and the subject of love, the vibhav, alamban, ashraya, is the parent. So when they're together, the reverential love has to be respected even by those who are intimate. So when the gopis came to see Krishna, Krishna was in the vesh, the dress of a king, and for his subjects, he had to keep his distance and dignity. His spontaneous romantic side would not suit in that relationship that they had in that way. So Srimati Radharani, at the Rath Yatra, Lord Chaitanya was in that mood. It's the same moonlight night of the month of Chaitra, the same sweet Malati breezes are blowing in the air, but I am not happy here. I want you back in the days of my youth. Because if we say Krishna is not just God, but Akila Rasamrita Murti, the full embodiment of God in love, then it was not Krishna in Kurukshetra. In terms of tattva, science, he's there, but in terms of relationship, he's not there. And the differentiations in the different manifestations of God is in terms of rasa. So he's not there. And therefore, when they asked Bhakti Vinod Thakur, you're getting old, is there any place you want to do bhajan? Where? He said Kurukshetra. They said Kurukshetra, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yayutsava, Mamaka Pandavas Chat. Kurukshetra, why Kurukshetra? He said, because I am Radhika Dasyam. And that was her greatest moment of need, because she was feeling separation and union. So they changed Krishna's vesh, his clothes. I think that's going to be described, or maybe it did. They tuck in they get the particular cloth and they tuck in the, yeah. So now we will go and, and then it describes, so Nārada also came, and I discussed this on Wednesday, just briefly here. Nārada is Vaishnav. Heart is very pure. When things are very clean, things that are impure within that setting become obvious. And it's that way with consciousness that's pure. So this whole turmoil with Krishna fainting and being in this mita, this near-death ecstasy and separation of the love of his devotees, he's the cause, because he came and stirred it up, just looking for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy, and asked Uddhava, and Uddhava said, it's the gopis, because I was there and I saw it. And that's where this whole discussion came that woke Krishna up and caused him to faint and be in this catatonic state. So he's there hovering high in the sky in a yoga posture and observing the sweetness, the mādhurya. He's there, ceṣṭā mādhuryānubhavāya, the observation of these sweet activities where God is going to, or, because Krishna's in Dwarka, he's a little formal, but there, if he's in that consciousness of Vrindavan, spontaneous means there's no obligation or duty or fear or distance. It's from the heart, just comes out. There's no parameters on it. There's parameters when there's reverential love. There's parameters of obligation. There's parameters of etiquette. It's all part of that love. It comes with fear, which is also, I may disappoint. It comes with that love. But now, Nārada, who has basically a reverential relationship, and the queens of Dwarka, who their conjugal love is mixed with the sense of the husband and the superior and the king, they're going to also see Krishna spontaneous. So Garuda positioned himself even higher in the sky, invisibly following his master to provide shades with his wings. So now Krishna, they put him on a bed out in probably under a tree, in this beautiful Nava Vrindavan. Even the kunja berries, the little necklaces of red and black and white seeds, that is Krishna's favorite. Those bushes have those. He made them exactly, and the kadamba flowers that are like these little yellow spikes, beautiful yellow color, and he's made everything there so expert. And they put him right in the middle of the figures surrounding him of Nanda and Yasoda and also the gopis are there also someplace. After a few minutes, Krishna's brother came back to normal consciousness. The best of discerning thinkers understood the entire situation. Balaram quickly cleansed his own lotus face and that of his younger brother. Then he gently placed a flute in the waist of Krishna's dhoti and a buffalo horn and stick in Krishna's hands, and a garland of kadamba flowers around his neck, a peacock feather ornamented on his head, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta natavara karniyo karnikar yam bibrad vishad kanikakapi samvaijyantish, and newly fashioned rings of kunja berries. So these little black and white seeds ring. So Balaram, and it's so beautiful. While we're reading these are also udipans for us, from Braja, from Krishna, a garland of kadamba flowers. I'm thinking of the kadamba trees in Vrindavan, and a peacock feather, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. That's the proof of God. God is that being of which no greater than can be conceived. If you can name any incarnation, I can say something greater. Peacock feather. Krishna with his peacock feather. Rachiyatva vanyavesham twastrir kalpita vastubi balad utapayam dhritva ravid uchatara sware. Thus, having arranged a forest outfit for Krishna with items made by Vishvakarma, Balaram, with some effort, lifted Krishna and then spoke to him loudly. So this architect made so many things. So Balaram, I went this on Wednesday, so I'm going to go to the next thing. Baladev said, Sri Krishna, Krishna, my dear brother, get up, wake up from your deep sleep. Just see, it is now getting late. The cows are already entering the forest. Sridham and your friends are waiting for you, and your parents are so filled with love they cannot even speak. So he's covering, because they're statues. It's just they're shocked because they see you here. These gopis are watching your lotus face and laughing at you as they whisper something to one another's ears. So there's these wax replicas of the gopis. So he's trying to wake Krishna up by telling him you're in Vrindavan, because that's the cause of his near-death state, in separation. Even when they discuss Srimati Radharani, Rati Manjari says she's praying with the red lac of your lotus feet, please cure this servant, near dead by the snake bite of separation. Sri Parikshit said, in this way Balaram filled the scene with talk. He called Krishna by his various names, caressed him, dragged him around in his arms, until Krishna finally got up and came back to some sort of consciousness. Krishna uttered the word, Shiva, Shiva. Shiva means auspicious. And suddenly stood up, a look of surprise in his face. Krishna opened his lotus eyes and quickly looked around, seeing Nanda in front of him. He felt embarrassed and bowed down, because he can see by the sun that it's already 11 o'clock. He's overslept for many, many hours, and he's late for his duty. So also personality of Godhead, so he's actually feeling ashamed. Any cultured person takes full responsibility for what one does and never deflects blame to others. So it's natural that Krishna is accepting full responsibility. Oh my God, I'm late. My cows, they're supposed to be in the forest. I was supposed to be there with my friends. Oh, my parents are here. I took this duty on behalf of Nanda Maharaj to help my father. And he bowed down immediately. Krishna saw Mother Yasoda also standing there, her eyes open wide and unblinking, as if pasted onto her face. Laughing in joy, he lovingly spoke. So now he's so happy, naturally, seeing his mother. The Supreme Lord said, Dear Mother, this morning during my sleep, I saw many amazing things in just a short moment if I were awake. So now, because he thinks he's in Vrindavan, how does he understand everything that just happened in his life? He's thinking, oh, this must have been a dream. And it was a long, long dream. Long, long dream. I'm thinking, because I had a long, long dream last night. Yeah. I saw that I had gone here to Madhupuri. There I saw wicked men like King Kamsa, kings like Jarasandha vanquished, and the demigods satisfied. So these are very, very sweet things when there's remembrance by either the gopis or Krishna of the previous pastimes. So when you study the Bhagavatam, and it's the 10th canto, so he said, wicked men like Kamsa, that's above, and the people who are reading it, who are qualified devotees, kings like Jarasandha vanquished, remember that story, and that's above, and the demigods were satisfied. A great city called Dwarka was built on the shore of the ocean, and so many other things happened. But now there isn't time enough to tell you about them all because I'm late for the forest. It's because this long dream distracted me that I didn't get out of bed on time like every other day. Dear respected brother, if you don't think this wonderful matter impossible, I'll explain it to you in detail when we go to the forest. Purport, Baladev might think that one could not see such a complex dream in just a few minutes before waking. Therefore, Krishna assures him that this was a dream he really had. Later in the morning, Krishna said, when they have some time to sit together, he will gladly describe it all. Shri Parikshit Uvacha Evam Sambhashya Janinam Abhivandyasa Sadaram Vanabogesh Suralaksha Rohingyokto Twabhijaya. Shri Parikshit said, after speaking in this way, Krishna offered his mother proper respects. Then the very expert Rohini sensed that Krishna wanted some food to take with him to the forest. Purport, while in the forest, one generally eats such simple things as rice mixed with yogurt. By observing the way Krishna moved his lotus hands and by other signs of his body language, Rohini, smart and practical, discerned that Krishna was thinking about such forest food. She quickly reasoned that since the artificial Mother Yasoda could not provide Krishna's meal or even say anything, Krishna might become suspicious if he were to ask food from Yasoda and she failed to respond. To avoid this potential disaster, Rohini moved into action before Krishna could say anything about being hungry. So I think there's 2 points here. Is Rohini's there to help fool Krishna that he's in Vrindavan, because although she was in Dwarka now, she was in Vrindavan, so Krishna could understand that, and she could move around and do things like feed him. The other thing is, and this is really the potency of love and the potency of service. When you love someone and you serve them, you understand their heart and you know how to please them. And you can even understand how their mind, how the face is the index of their mind. Shri Rohini said, "Dear child, your mother has no other son but you. She was so worried today by your extra sleeping that she feels a bit ill, so I think we have talked enough." So there's different levels of consciousness. So it's described when there's deep separation, you first come into half consciousness, like when you wake up from a dream. So Krishna is still in this half consciousness. So he can't understand, and not only half consciousness, but an emotional state. Half conscious emotional state means that your buddhi or your intelligence or your discrimination or your perception is very, very much compromised. So Krishna is in this state. It's not that you wake up, he sees the statue, oh, I'm in another Vrindavan is not real. No, but he's just woken up and he's in an emotional state of separation. He's so joyful to see his mother. But then Rohini also says she's a little bit ill. She loves you. So she's kind of a bit ill. Agrato nistrita gastvam gopams chanusara prutam mayopaskritya sadbhogyam vanamadye praheshyati. The cows and the boys tending them have already gone ahead. You should quickly follow them. I will prepare some nice refreshments for you and send them to you in the forest. Parikshit said, Krishna offered his respects to Rohini, who had spoken to him with such love. Then with a smile on his face, like a thief, he stealthily took from Mother Yasoda's hand the butter she was holding. He then left to join his older brother, calling out his name. Generous Krishna did not eat this butter before reaching the cows. So they also put a fresh butter. Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, they can eat just fresh butter with sugar. One of my friends was buying quite a few acres of land in Govardhan, and he expertly negotiated with these Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛtas, and it was amazing, because first they just put him off for the land. They let it wait 2 years to kind of raise the price for him, and he kept on going. And then the final thing, he had to eat at their house, and they put down a scoop of butter, because Krishna's mucking sure. They put a scoop of butter with sugar on it, and to prove himself worthy to get land in Govardhan. Actually, in Govardhan, there are professional eaters. One of our favorite personalities, because I was the first one to actually stay in that ISKCON Govardhan Palace before there was running water, actually. I remember the winter, my God, ice cold showers. But there was, and you're very careful who you let in, but there was one saintly, humble, simple man that we loved, who was a Brahmin, and he would walk around Govardhan, and what happens is that wealthy people come to the Dham, and they hold feasts, and they feed the sadhus. And then, to create the right consciousness, not that you're a beggar, but that you're blessing me by coming. What a beautiful culture. They give out money. At that time, maybe 10 rupees. This is what he would do. It was very thin. They would give pots of rubbery, like this. Rubbery is cooked down milk with sugar. So Krishna eating the butter, it's something very special. I used to have one place in Govardhan, some of you have been to with me, 10, 15 minutes from the Krishna Mandir. My friend, godbrother, Prem Kishore, now he took sannyas. He had beautiful cows. And I take people there, and it was so amazing with the churning rod and the rope to churn, is it butter from milk or yogurt? And then mystically, by Krishna's mysticism, somehow you really got to work at it. It's so funny, they didn't need these gyms. they would work at it. And it would, the ghee and the butter. And then he would take the whey. He would take us inside, and he would take the whey. And then they would churn the butter. Maybe they churned the butter to ghee. But he would take us inside, and he would use the whey and squeeze fresh lemons with sugar. And people used to love to go there. Purport, it seems from Krishna's cooperative response that he trusted Rohini's words as much as Mother Yasoda. He told Rohini, I bow down to your feet and offer obeisances. Vishvakarma knew that Krishna loves fresh butter, and that Mother Yasoda therefore often has some in her hand ready to give to him. Vishvakarma had fashioned his image of Yasoda accordingly, while Krishna was occupied. Rohini and Yasoda, Balaram, thinking that Krishna was back to normal, had already gone ahead. He also had a confidential reason for leaving Krishna behind, namely to leave Krishna free to meet alone with the gopis. So This is rasa, the rasa theory. The friends are incompatible unless they're priyanarma suckers, real intimate friends, but generally the friends, what to speak of older friends or your brother who's an older friend, to be there when you can't, you can't exhibit that side when your brother is there, your older brother. That's why Lord Nityananda did not stay in Puri, so that his brother, Lord Chaitanya, can exhibit the mood of Srimati Radharani, which doesn't come out in the presence. The intimate side doesn't come in the older brother. It's a different mood. In expertly pleasing words, Krishna had asked his two mothers to make lunch for him. Then he had set off, and on the way met some of the gopis and enjoyed some joking talk. So I guess they were out in the forest a little bit more. So this is an amazing story because it's really reaching. Because what happens now, soon Krishna will go to the shore, and then on the shore he'll see the city of Dwarka, and then he'll become disoriented. Now he's already out of the catatonic near-death state of separation from Vrindavan, because he thinks he's in Vrindavan. So Lord Brahma's plan works, and then Balaram kind of explains to him, you have your mission, yada yada hi dharmasya glanhir bhavati bharata, we got to finish your Sishapal attacking, whatever it is. And then he goes back to the palace. And see, there's also descriptions of the queens of Dwarka when they're behind the trees and they see Krishna, their husband, in a more sweet way. They don't become jealous, they become overwhelmed with ecstasy. They see the sweetness of their husband, the spontaneous love he'll have when he meets these gopi statues. And then it's so expertly weaved in, the theme, and then Satyabhama is not there and he becomes upset with her, calls her, and then tells Satyabhama, and this reveals the whole conclusion of this story of Narada's search for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. Then Krishna explains why he loves the gopis so much, including why he can't go back. It's like if you throw sprinkles of water on a frying pan, the water does nothing to cool it down. So in the deep mood of separation, a brief visit by Krishna would not do. It would have no effect. He'd have to stay there for a long time. And then there are other reasons Krishna understands that this, when they come to have consciousness and they'll just emotional state, they'll think he'll leave again, they may get worse. Okay, Jamuna Jaya, you there still?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mirage. Thank you for class.
Yeah.
Many great points. But there are two ones right there at the end. The thing about when saying you're not a beggar, you're giving us opportunity to serve. That's such a great mood to live in, that when someone asks for something, you're not a beggar, you're giving me opportunity to serve. I love that so much. And then I always love, it's just, it's such not the material world that the wives of Dwarka aren't envious at all of the gopis. It brings, you said that makes them even more ecstatic. It's just always so beautiful.
Yeah, and that part of Narada, yes. I mean, what I liked about it is he felt he offended. So he was very afraid, and that's what I'm saying. That's reverential love. In love, he was afraid of offense.
Yeah.
Cowherd boys will defeat Krishna. Krishna will have to carry them on his back, so it's different. Okay, Gail?
Yes.
Gail, you there? You have your questions? Okay.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, I couldn't navigate the screen. a couple of things. One is, I just want to make sure that Balaram, did he faint or start crying himself upon seeing the state that Krishna was in out of love for him?
You mean why he collapsed?
Yeah.
No, he was thinking about the suffering of the residents of Vrindavan.
Oh.
He was mentioning how they're suffering in separation, and that was just devastating to him.
Oh.
It's just so wonderful how these hearts, we have to pray to actually feel that way about Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan, how these hearts, they become so focused on another.
Yeah. Okay, Maharaj, just one other thing was, I think these are coming attractions, as you were saying, but, Krishna's going to explain why he can't go back for the sake of, putting in even deeper distress, right?
Yeah.
So, but if he's had this experience, right, where he thinks he's there because of this phony Vrindavan setup, then why would he?
I don't like to call it a phony Vrindavan.
I know.
Oh, Gail, oh, Supreme Editor. How about facsimile or replica?
Replica. The wax museum of Vrindavan.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so since in his mind, he's already been, he is in Vrindavan. So what's the question of him thinking that, what if I go back,
What do you mean?
Okay, as of now, in this point of the story.
Okay, but no, now he realizes that they took him out of that. It was an emotional instance where everyone was crying and, he was getting into it. And now they revived him. So he's back to his kind of normal self. He has his separation, but it hasn't made him dysfunctional. So then when Satyabhama, because she's the only queen that didn't really appreciate it because of her particular nature, and Krishna becomes upset with her and then explains to her. So you get the answer to Narada's journey of the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy from the words of Krishna himself at the end. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, but for him to utter those words, he has to come to the realization that he was in the wax museum.
Yeah, he was told that when he was at the shore, when he was at the shore, and then he was thinking he was going to the forest, and he thought the shore was the Jamuna, and then he saw the Dwarka, and he got confused. Where am I? And then, wait, that's Dwarka. And then Balaram took him aside and explained to him what happened and what they did. So he knows that it was a phony.
Oh.
He knows that it was a phony Vrindavan.
Okay.
That would be such a good name, right? Your name is Phony Vrindavan. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello? By the way, we had our Metro Mantra Sanga. We had such a nice program with Hari Kirtan yesterday. I'm actually going to write my Monday morning greetings as a book review on his Gita because I was so impressed with what he did and how he explained it. So we had a small gathering in New York, and then we have another one today in Jaisubhadra and Govardhan Lal. But I interviewed him and discussed, and it was really really good. Looking forward to it today because I'm going to write that article, I'm going to really question him in more depth about his book and the theme, but it's beautifully put together. Okay, anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Gumaraj, Tota Gopinath here.
Tota. Yavad Sundari, Hare Krishna. Good to see. Okay, I can't hear you, but nice to see you. Haribo. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Gumaraj, Lal Govinda.
And Braja.
Thank you for class.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you today, right?
Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun with Hari Kirtan and the questions, and it's a nice format. It was really absorbing yesterday, so it was great.
Oh,
Great. Was there a recording from yesterday?
Sri Rupa takes care of everything. I don't worry anymore.
Great.
Okay. Anybody else? Say hello.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the class. Surya Radhika here.
I still owe you a letter, Surya Radhika. I just got up to my email yesterday. Okay, Haribo. Anybody else? Say hello.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class.
Amala, Haribo.
Cool.
Okay. Are you going to do your Vaishnav motorcycle family?
The trip is next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't go because I'll be in Moscow.
Maybe next year we'll do one in Moscow.
Okay. That's a great idea. Okay. Anybody else? Say hello.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's Yvette. Thank you for class.
Will we see you today, Yvette?
Yeah, I'll be there today.
Oh, great. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, Haribo.
Haribo.
Anybody else say hello? Okay. I'll just look down the names so I see who's in the class. Really nice. Great. Wow, okay. Nice group of people always. Okay. No, next Monday morning greeting will be Wednesday, and then next Sunday, next Sunday it will be from Moscow. Okay, thank you all. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo.